So if you come here from my original channel Manga Common, then you already know that I have done videos concerning game theory and Verlisify. So a while ago, my eternal nemesis MapHat put up a video consisting entirely of him trying to beat more out of a theory out of a dead rat. My newer and less fashionable nemesis Verlisify then put up a video, well, two of them actually, to flagellate MapHat's video. I was going to put up my own video on Manga Common channel debunking some of the more spurious claims in both videos. You know, maybe just focus on Verlisify because he's the lesser of two evils. And I was going to do this very quickly, since they mixed canons, errantly claim that only his speculative theories are real and everyone else's have no textual support whatsoever, and generally just being annoying. But then I realized that if we're lucky, those two will take each other out and the internet will be just a tiny bit smarter for it. It's a pipe dream, but hey, we gotta dream sometime. So instead of talking about them, I want to talk about what the Dead Raticate theory really is, and why it is kinda nifty, even if it's wrong. Sort of. Probably. Let's elaborate! I'm gonna throw around a big dumb word in this video, possibly. Actually, that's a damn lie. Scarlet is gonna throw a big dumb word into my script. And I'm gonna pretend I forgot to edit out for the sake of a joke, and we're all gonna have a fine laugh at my expense about it later. And that word is canon. Now don't laugh, I'm not patronizing you. For all the times it gets thrown around on the internet, the word canon has a kind of interesting definition. The origin of the word comes from the medieval times, and is one of its earlier uses used to distinguish the text recognized by the early Christian church as part of the official Holy Scriptures from other religious texts such as the Gospel of Thomas. You know, things you may have heard about from reading the Da Vinci Code. That wasn't a recommendation. Please, don't read the Da Vinci Code. For the love of Arceus, don't! Nowadays, we use the word canon to refer to the accepted official version of fictional universes, including all the characters existing in that universe, all events taking place, fictional backstories, physics, the whole shebang! Canon is considered sacred, no pun intended there, by a good number of fans on the internet too. A big part of why the Dead Raticate theory is still around is that it's one of the only creepy Pokemon theories out there that was never contradicted by the in-series canon. That's not to say it is correct, though. There's a reason why the word headcanon is a thing. It gives a personal and inevitably biased perspective of the facts that are given to people in place of missing puzzle pieces. It's just that sometimes the replacement pieces here tend to be out of place to the point where people use a hammer to slam them in to make them fit. Here's the Dead Raticate theory in summary if, by shock of all shocks, you haven't heard of it before. When your rival fights you on the SS Anne, or as I refer to him in the game text, Fart, he has a level 16 Raticate on his team. When you next meet him, he's in the Pokemon Tower. He has only 5 slots on his team, with no Raticate. Some fans propose that the reason he's in Pokemon Tower to begin with is he's there to mourn the Raticate who you accidentally murdered during your battle with him back on the ship. As further evidence, they point out in the English translations of the game, he rather unnervingly mentions that even if you don't have any dead Pokemon of your own, at least he can make them faint. The Japanese encounter text also mentions that he's there visiting someone. This is also evidenced by the number of Pokemon your rival has on his team when you battle him. Noticeably, he doesn't have a full team, and that level paradox of a rodent is nowhere to be seen throughout the fight. Now here's the thing. There are massive of in-universe possibilities that explain his absence without making the player character into an exterminator. Here are a few things in a comical monotone. He boxed it. He released it. He traded it. That last one especially considering that he now has an Execute. It is on vacation with its grandparents. Bob is your uncle. Butch and Cassidy from the anime stole it, and now it is their partner Pokemon. It was called back to its home planet after... Alright, the last two were just me messing with you, but you get the idea, right? What? What do you mean, no? Alright, you want the unvarnished truth? We can talk all day how you can catch an underleveled evolved Pokemon in the wild, or how to force evolutions, or about how you're not the only trainer with a PC box, or how we know the rival in the games has always had way more Pokemon than he actually fights you with because he frequently says so to your face. We can bring up all that, and here's the thing. We'll all be equally wrong. There's only one real reason that our rival was missing Raticate when we fought him for a second time. Are you ready for this? Because I don't think you're ready for this, because this will change your entire life, your perspective on everything. Are you completely sure? Alright then. Hey, it's a mother flippin' video game and the developers programmed the encounter that way! TLDR.
You see, they just didn't care.
Snark aside, this is what the whole thing boils down to. The game developers have never actually mentioned what their motivation was for why your rival's team shifts the way it does between the SS and the Pokemon Tower. It might have a lot to do with the balancing of the difficulty of each encounter, or foreshadowing the team your rival eventually uses when he becomes champion at the end of the game. It might just be that the Raticate isn't all that tough of a Pokemon, and they wanted something with a bit more oomph to it. Here, like Oh, I couldn't even finish that sentence. Sorry, Execute. You're, neat and all, but wow. You just suck. You make no sense. Seriously, how do you get coconuts from eggs? And why are you a psychic type?
Get on with it. Yes, get on with it!
Right. Sidetrack. The point is that the developers never included a clear in-universe explanation for this shift, and they may not have even had one in mind when they implemented it. What that means is whatever happened to that Raticate is pretty much open to fan speculation until someone involved with the development of these encounters in Red and Blue says otherwise. Hell, there are schools of critical thought that argue that even if they did say something, if it isn't in the text itself, it shouldn't count. So what does this mean? Are we not allowed to speculate about this just because canon doesn't have a lot to say on the subject? Well, allow me to leave you with a delightful analogy. You've read Lord of the Rings, Knight, or have at least heard of it? Remember Aragorn? Nice guy. Actor who played him in the movie broke his foot and still read through the entire scene. Good stuff. Well, here's the thing. Aragorn's not wearing any pants. I'm not wearing any pants. What's that? Why, you ask? Well, it's simple. The books never once mentioned Aragorn's pants. Therefore, his pants are not canon. I think you get my point here. Just because canon doesn't specifically mention something doesn't mean there's no room for it to exist. Fan speculation is a great tool to fill in the gaps like whether or not Aragorn prefers wearing boxers or briefs, what color, or hell, maybe he's wearing a kilt. And it's also great for coming up with explanations as to why our rival decided to spontaneously swap out his team members. See, there's the thing. At the end of the day, no matter how much contextual evidence I give you, canon doesn't actually say what our rival's Raticate is dead or alive. It's all up to how you interpret the sparse relayed information about our rival and his Pokemon within the game. And ultimately, that's a big part of where having fun with Pokemon comes from. Don't pretend you've never imagined that your character's personality was when you play through the game, even though your dialogue is almost limited to yes or no. Hell, there's even a line in the series where if you choose yes or no, you'll get, "Yes, Town? Where's that?" Or, "No? What do you mean, no? Everybody comes from somewhere." It's all thanks to your imagination.
Imagination!
Your imagination is what fills in the gaps that are left in by canon. It's what makes this universe real to you. And I guess what I'm saying is that if imagining your rival's Raticate died by your hand makes playing the original Pokemon games a deeper and richer experience for you, then shine on, you crazy diamond. You're still wrong, though.